I kind of got to do this one before I forget the thought. Because I got a shower, sitting here doing coffee, trying to get the hair to dry a little bit. And, God, it's still dripping. I'm going to have a wet ass. It's typical. Anyway. I swear my phone reads my mind. Okay, so totally unrelated. I'm sitting there, I'm thinking about psychological scenarios. And the movie Mommy Dearest popped into my head. I can go in 5 different directions about this because that Joan Crawford had several children that she had adopted, and the twins said that they weren't treated the way the other 2 were, right? So, but that's neither here nor there. The point is that they grew up in an affluent environment, and she was so controlling and domineering that the 2 olders, Christina and Christian, I don't know. They were both Chris. It was kind of weird. But anyway, they had experienced physical, psychological, emotional abuse from her, and the younger, the twins that she had adopted, did not get that. Apparently, they said she was a wonderful lady. She never treated them like that. No, but anyway, as I'm sitting there thinking this stuff, I'm just doing coffee. I'm not talking out loud, nothing. I'm not even talking to myself. I'm just sitting there thinking about, just because you live in a, affluent or very privileged environment doesn't mean that there isn't abuse taking place in some way, shape, or form. Whether it be physical, psychological, emotional shit. Neglecting your children or, parentificating them is abusive in that regard. You're either working them to death or you're not even paying attention to them. You're just giving them the basic seeds of life, food, clothing, and shelter, and calling it a day, right? So that's where my whole thoughts were at prior to seeing this silly ass video where, I get into this morning doom scroll, right? Well, I ran across Applesauce and ADHD, the video where her, because I was sitting there thinking, about that movie. That was a really good comparison for the psychology field to use that as an example. Just because you come from privileged, surroundings doesn't mean that abuse isn't taking place. So Applesauce and ADHD, she's got this random skit where she's like, she had dyed her eyebrows, and it was one of those like fucking embarrassing moments where it took her like an hour or so to get the dye off her face because she was doing her mother, and they got the dye on there, and her mom was like, I look like Joan Crawford, no wire hangers. Her mommy is so cute. Anyway, so I was like, is Google like reading my mind? Because that woman in that movie had just spawned into my head like minutes before, as I was psychoanalyzing some of the content that I've put out in regards to some of the things that I have experienced and learned throughout the years. Now, I had watched that movie when I was younger, and I resonated with the spontaneous, combustive, no fucking self-control, rip the kid out of the bed, fucking make them clean shit in the middle of the fucking night crap. You know, the spontaneous, combustive, I mean, just, I've experienced that. And it traumatized me. Now, did it affect my siblings the same way? I don't know. Did she do that to them? I don't know. I just know that me and my little sister were pretty much paired up through all of this. And yeah, she can validate. It was kind of scary when you're that little, young, you know, prepubescent. So, anyway, yeah, I had to put this one out. It's like, damn, Google, get out of my head.